Good morning, guys. Happy Wednesday. It is 5:55 right now. In the morning, I am going on my long run today. I actually have very light client schedule this week and I have to take advantage. And it is so hot this week. The temperatures came back up, so I was like, I gotta get out there early. I'm gonna do 20 miles today. I'll explain the plan in a bit, but I'm packing up my stuff right now. I have my bag with my food in it, obviously my hydration pack and everything. I am bringing 2 big water bottles because I'm actually going to do 2 loops for this 20 miles to have sort of a bailout plan in the heat. It's always just a safe way to go if you're running alone. So I'm going to come back to the car at 10 miles. I will rehydrate, fill up my bag and everything, because I'm sure it will be definitely empty by then, and then also replenish the food at that point. So I always just pack up a tote with my extra food and water and then my change of clothes for afterward, the sandals, and that's basically it. And I'm getting ready to go here. I just wanted to make sure I have time to drink a Celsius, have a perfect bar, that's what I'm eating this morning, and have time to go to the bathroom before I head out. So that's where we're at. It is almost 6. All right, 6:15 on the road now. The sun is coming up. Clearly, it's starting to get light out, and I would have probably loved to start the run as the sun was coming up, but the area I'm going to, and quite honestly, any area at this point, as a singular female running in the dark, even the edges of the darkness is just not wise, in my opinion. I wish it wasn't the case, but enough stories have led me to caution. Yeah, my plan is to just stay really dialed on my hydration, nutrition. Got my electrolytes. You saw that salt that I'm going to be using to avoid cramping. And the last couple long runs, because of the heat, I just haven't really eaten, and I really suffered towards the end with my energy. So I'm not going to let that happen today, especially since I'll be alone. That is the update. I'm excited, honestly, to just have these hours to myself and listen to some podcasts and kind of zone out. I'm in brand new shoes. I have my Speed Goats. They just came in. First time I'll be running in this pair, so I'm super excited about that. Just always nice to have a fresh one. Yeah, let's do this. All right, we are at the 5-mile mark. This will be my turnaround right here with these little decks. And I'm gonna eat something now. We're a little under an hour in, definitely moving slow. The heat is not bad yet because the sun's not direct, but when it is, holy shit, I'm a little scared. But body's actually feeling great, even though I'm a little slow. I'm gonna have some of these scratch chews. I think there's like 8 of them in a pack, and I'll probably eat 3 right now. Yeah, quarter of the way done. All right, guys, 11.2 into this run. I'm back at the car. Ended up doing a little detour on the way back. I had never taken this one path, and I was like, let me see, add a little bit so I don't have to go as far on the second lap. Gonna fill up my water, and then we'll do a little update. Okay, takeaways. I am really glad I started when I did, because basically my whole first loop out and back, I would say was very little in the sunlight, in the direct sunlight. That is massive because I know things are going to change on this second time around. Second thing, I'm annoyed with myself. I just feel really slow, but I have to remember what I always tell you guys. The heat, and I'm talking like serious humidity, serious heat, it makes a massive difference in what your body's doing while you run. So it's fighting the heat. It's trying to keep you stable. And I did do a strength workout yesterday afternoon. So I'm feeling that stiffness, but I did it on purpose. I'm going to be sore, tired, everything in between during the 100. So this is all for that. But I do think, yeah, there's just a lot of tough factors, which is why I'm doing this. If it was super easy, you know, I'm thinking back to the 50 I did in April, and it's like, that was cold and rainy. I'd kill for cold and rainy right now. Okay. Do I want a little bit? No, we'll leave it at that. And I still have my Tailwind in my soft flask. Put this guy back in. I have one hot spot on my ball of my right foot. I'm not super worried about it. Again, there will be times during the race that I will likely be running on something rubbing or painful. I'm going to attribute a lot of this to humidity. Just even though I put the runner's lube on and stuff, it's just intense out here. So yeah, I'm on top of my nutrition. I'm taking my base salt every 40 minutes or so, 2 thumbs worth. And I'm just listening to podcasts, telling myself it'll all be okay. The really nice thing is, so now when I go out again, I will not have to go quite as far because I ended up getting that extra mile plus in. So need to just do a little under 4.5 out and 4.5 back. And yeah, this hat is really hot. I really, really don't want to wear it, but it's going to block the sun. So need to do that. Yeah, wish me luck, guys. I will probably check in with you at mile 15. 15.75 in. This is my turnaround. These moments, I always tell you guys, don't get too high, don't get too low. Never ever judge the moment for too long because it will change. I know that. I have been in a pretty exposed part of the trail till this little shade spot I found. So I will say that I am probably feeling sorry for myself extra because of that, but it gives you nothing to feel sorry for yourself. It really, really doesn't. I'm going to keep hoofing on. I can put one foot in front of the other. These are the moments I always tell you, this is where I make or break my training. This is what you need to be familiar with when you get to the race, because you are going to have this and probably worse. I'm really grateful for the humidity actually, because in my race, it will be desert heat, which is dry. Yes, it will be hot, but there will be that difference, and I'm practicing in worse right now. So couldn't be better for my training, but holy shit. I'm going to keep chugging water. I'm continuing to eat even though I'm not wanting to anymore. I am staying on the salt. I know I can do this. Let's go, guys. I'll show you a little more B-roll and then I'll see you at the car. All right. It's one of those stages where running and walking hurt, so better to just run, keep moving faster forward. I am over 18 now, in some shade, thank God. All right, guys, home stretch, final 3/4. I got this. .02. I'm kind of a psycho. You guys have maybe picked up on that sometimes. Very OCD about things, and I didn't really take an actual walk break counted towards my mileage until mile 15 or right around there. I was so telling myself, if you're gonna stop, you're gonna not count it and you're gonna pick up where you are, whatever. And I was like, no, towards the end of it, I was like, fuck, if I can add up generally what I've walked and I was keeping track the whole time, I'm gonna run that bit at the end, no stops. So from mile 18 on, I ran 21 miles, ran to 21 miles, which accounted for an extra mile, which I think is about probably, if you added it all up, what I walked of the course. Most of it was in, well, there was a good bit of shade, and then the end mile plus was all in sun, as you could see. And great practice for me. Great practice. I was telling myself, be where your feet are. Don't think about we'll talk about this later. Yeah, you get the idea. 21 technically, but 20 miles running. All right. All right, I am showered and now we're gonna roll out. I am gonna use my roller and then I'm gonna use my bigger mobility ball. I also have a towel because I'm in shorts, and rolling on with shorts, bearskin, it's not it. And I always use it in the summer as an excuse to just like, oh, I'll do it later when I have pants on or whatever. Never do it. So I'm gonna lay this towel over the roller so that any place that I'm doing it on my legs, it won't get stuck. So, all right, let's roll out for a good, probably 10 minutes, honestly. Final piece. I sit on this is how I get my hamstrings. I sit on the elevated coffee table and I just basically put it under each hamstring. And then I use, I'll show you guys, kind of my leverage by being lifted off the ground to kick this leg out and in. And it kind of just flosses the hamstring and I can go side to side and I don't have to like hold myself up because I had that lift. Okay, so while I do this, I'm gonna give you guys a couple little lessons from the long run today. All right, just some things I was thinking about as I was like winding down, showering and stuff like that. As I said, very hard, you saw me struggling. It's funny because I try to be so positive. I noticed that even when I film, I try to be so positive for you guys. And I'm having hard moments, but something about being on the camera makes me like push out of it a little bit more. And I was super there with you guys today. Like that was really what was going on. That was me. It was taking everything in my body to take the phone out just to film. And I just wanted to share, like now that I've had a second to come down a little bit, things I was thinking about was just, all of this stuff is a blessing in a training run. This is the stuff that changes how you perform on race day. And I was sort of saying that earlier, but it's like, you cannot experience the lows enough. Like that is what you need to really create a foundation, of somebody that's not gonna give up no matter how hard it gets during your race. It's so easy to get in a low. For instance, today around mile 13, you guys saw me start to shut down and I was like, wow, 13, how the fuck am I doing 100? If this is how I feel at 13. Such a negative and unhelpful way to look at things in that moment. I tell you guys this, but I tell it to myself too. What on earth do I get out of thinking that or expanding my thought on that and really mulling on it? Nothing. Literally it does nothing. Be where your feet are. I always go back to that Jesse Eitzler quote. I was literally like coaching myself out loud at some points today. But I think, it can only get better. And yeah, you'll maybe come down and have a low again, but it can only get better. And you have to trust yourself. You have to build those tools to be able to get yourself through it. And that's why if you don't experience any lows leading up to a long race, you're gonna be super jarred when they do come up. So I feel really good about the fact that I had some big factors today. I had heat, humidity, and pavement. On race day, I will have heat, but I will not have humidity unless it's raining, which in that case would be cool. And I will not have pavement. I will be on a much more comfortable, as far as impact, dirt and sand trail. So it might be a little bit slower in that sense, but it's not gonna be the pounding that the pavement is. Again, not using these as excuses, but these are training tools. These are things that were uncomfortable today that I know will pay off in the long run. So hopefully something in there helped you guys. I struggle too. I think we all break it down and we, hope something will go one way. We're almost addicted to trying and seeing what would happen. I've been looking forward to this run. On this Wednesday, I had it on my, a week ago I realized I would have an open Wednesday, and I was like, I'm gonna go do it. I wanna see how I do, and I knew it was gonna be hot. So really all I can say there is, you go through it and the lessons kind of present themselves on that day, that time, maybe how you're not expecting it all. So the other thing too, I definitely ran out of fluids early, and that was a mistake. I don't know how much else I could have done. I think I could have been a little bit more proactive, maybe hydrating yesterday, but otherwise I know at the race I'll have aid stations. The longest stretch without aid is like 6.5 miles, and I'll make sure that I have plenty for that. So, all right guys, this wraps up my recovery portion with the rollers. I'm gonna do Normatex later. Okay, so for lunch, I'm gonna do probably a third of this bunch of asparagus. I'm gonna steam it, cut it in halves. I have a great steak, actually probably more than I'm gonna eat, yeah, definitely. Filet mignon that I made last night in the cast iron. I had steak last night. I just feel so good when I eat steak. I just feel energized. I don't know, I just love it. So, gonna have some of this, I'm gonna slice it thin, and then I'll put the asparagus and steak with leftover white rice. I'm just very predictable. But that'll do it. I always try to eat as soon as I feel like I can stomach it, because I really don't like, obviously it's a Wednesday and I still have work to do from home. I have therapy later and stuff like that, but I don't want to just sink into the couch for the rest of the day. And the sooner I can put calories back, the sooner I can feel normal again. Just had therapy and it was amazing. I just want to tell you guys a couple tidbits in case it helps you. But I always laugh that when I have therapy on a long run day, it's like unnecessary because the long run was so therapeutic. Well, today's was a lot of things, but it was therapeutic for part of it. And so it's funny because I almost get there and I'm like, I'm chilling. Like, I'm not that worked up. And normally I go in there with like 50 things. This is what I'm thinking about. This is what I'm working on. This is what you talked about last time, whatever. But two big things I'm working on right now is embracing change. There's a lot of change going on. I am going to be living with a boyfriend for the first time ever, starting in about a month. And it's one of those things where it's like, oh wow, this is like a big girl thing. And any change I've made up to this point in my life has been just affecting me. So it's so beautiful and I'm so excited to be doing it, but it's crazy. It's a big change. And I kind of broke down in there because it's like, this is something that I would absolutely love to have my mom around for. And we talked about that, and we talked about what it means to have a North Star that kind of is your sounding board for things you're thinking about and going through. And it's really nice to have somebody to put that against and say, like, what do they think? Because they really know me. And so this has been my first, couple of years of truly having to decide what's best for me, by myself, like not going against somebody else's opinion or, what do they recommend or anything like that. Like, this is truly, I have to trust myself. So I'm really working on that. Yes, things are changing, but change is good and it pushes you to new growth. And I have to trust myself, and like whatever I think is best has to be what's best. And as much as it's great to have an incredible mom who is so there and knows me, and she knew me so well, like I just, I'm rolling with the punches, and I can, dream about what she might say or what she might have as advice. But, ultimately I have what I have, and I have done a lot of work on myself to be able to trust myself moving forward. Okay. That's one of the things. And then the second thing is detachment from outcome, which is kind of paired with that. I'm really working on this, how to detach from happiness being associated with one thing happening or not happening. And this goes for so many parts of life, but it's really incredible the freedom you feel when you stop linking scenarios to feelings. We develop things in our heads and narratives and things like this. I've been listening to a lot about this, but you create this thing in your head and you end up like teaching yourself that if it doesn't go that way, you failed or you won't be happy or bad things are coming or whatever, when really this was all designed in your head to begin with. But ultimately letting life play out and really focusing on being present in the moment is such a gift. It really is such a gift. And really, like, the only reality we have is this moment right now. That's all I'm going to leave you guys with. Sorry, that was a lot, but I wanted to kind of like blurb and have it out. And if any of that helps you guys, I think you can apply all of it to fitness. We talked a lot about that. I could have gone into a spiral that today didn't go absolutely perfectly on my long run and draw it back to like how I'm going to do in the race, whatever. But I'm like, no, doesn't mean anything. It was a hard day. It was a good training day, and we move forward to the next. So hope you guys are doing well. The last piece of this vlog will be me normateching and just getting my legs kind of fleshed out. So you will see that in the next clip. All right, guys, I think this is where I leave you. I'm going to do about an hour in the Normatex, make some dinner eventually, and have a great night's sleep hopefully tonight. I hope you enjoyed this vlog, and hopefully it inspired you to go do your long run, or not do your long run, depending on what the weather's like. But yeah, I love making the content for you guys. And one quick announcement, moving forward, starting actually with this month, so you'll see it next week, we're going to do one live Q&A where I answer your questions related to training, motivation, all that stuff. 30-minute session. We're going to do it once a month, and you'll always get notifications if you're subscribed about when the Q&A is starting or about to start. So definitely make sure you're subscribed for that, and you can always send me questions through DM or my website or whatever if you're not going to make it for that time, and I will answer them. Love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.